basically, what is Al-Hisbah? So Al-Hisbah is originated from the Arabic word, which is hasaba. If you translate into English, it means accounted, calculated or evaluated. So basically, Al-Khattab, he termed Al-Hisbah as a system to handle the devils that occurs in the midst of society. So it's related with the concept of amal ma'ruf nahi munkar, which is encouraging good and avoiding bad. So keyword here that we can understand about Al-Hisbah is it is the system of Islamic accountability and supervision that helps to handle the society. Usually, every system, they have the sources to become the guidance in creating the framework. Same goes to Al-Hisbah. It has 5 main sources, which are Quran and Sunnah, Khulafa ar-Rashidin, previous Muslim Empire, and also Muslim scholars' work. So the difference between all of these sources is Quran and Sunnah. We classify it as the primary sources. They provide the fixed or foundational example and practices. Meanwhile, the another three sources is the expanded or adjusted version to make it suit with the current situation of the society. If you wonder, is it important to have Al-Hisbah in our society? So imagine the world without regulation. Can you imagine how the situation will be? Definitely will be chaos, right? Because everyone will do whatever they want without thinking if their action have any consequences to themselves or any people or environment around them. Okay, so basically we can say that Al-Hisbah is important because it ensuring the social harmony, okay, because it uphold the justice and protect the people's right, especially the marginalized or the weak group. Not only that, Al-Hisbah also important to ensure that people will behave properly, like what is stated in the religious or ethical standard. So people will not do any harmful action to themselves or others. And because it aligns with the Islamic teaching, of course, it helps to protect the maqasid syariah too, which is the mind, lineage, wealth, life, and also religion.
I am Aliani Oshanini and I will be presenting on the history of Al-Hisbah and how its principles continue to be relevant in today's world. Trust me, it's more than just a history lesson, it's about ethics, justice and fairness. Now, let's look into the origin of Al-Hisbah. Let's start at the beginning. During the time of Prophet Muhammad, the foundation of Al-Hisbah emerged when the Prophet noticed that marketplaces weren't always fair. From Islamic historical dimension, according to Al-Tabari, the Prophet visited a market and found plentiful of deceptions committed by traders for the sake of getting profit. Prices could be manipulated, weight could be inaccurate, and some traders were less than honest. So to fix this, Prophet Muhammad appointed market inspector Sa'id bin Al-As to ensure fairness in transactions. This simple act planted the seeds for a system that would later evolve into a formal governance structure. During the Islamic Caliphate era, Khulafa ar-Rashidin, this idea was institutionalized and became a key part of how society was governed. It remained dominant until the 30th century, often referred to as the Golden Age of Islam. Now, let's look into the key function of Al-Hisbah. So, what did Al-Hisbah actually do? Let's break it down into 4 different parts. The first one, market regulation. The muhtasib, think of them like market inspectors. Make sure that goods were sold at fair prices, weight and measures were accurate, and no shady business was going on. Fraud, not on their watch. The second one, consumer protection. They protected buyers from monopolies and exploitation. Imagine a watchdog making sure consumers got a fair deal every time they shop. The third one, public morality. The muhtasib also ensured public decency. If someone was acting out of line, they stepped in to uphold societal norms grounded in Islamic principle. And the fourth one, justice and dispute resolution. Think of them as both mediators and regulators. They handle disputes, enforce rules, and make sure justice was served. So, what is the role of the muhtasib? The muhtasib played a crucial role. They were not just market monitors. They were guardians of fairness and enforcers of ethics. They even had the authority to impose penalties on those violating Islamic principle. So, what about the relevance today? And why does any of this matter? Because we still need accountability, fairness, and transparency. especially in governance. The Al-Hisbah framework provides a timeless model for promoting integrity and reducing corruption. It is particularly relevant as countries like Malaysia address ethical governance challenges such as improving the CPI, which is the Corruption Perception Index ranking. So, Al-Hisbah is not just a relic of the past, it is a blueprint for fair and just governance that can inspire modern society.
Okay, now let's see the development of Al-Hisbah in Malaysia. First contact is religion. For the religious enforcement, you know the authorities like JAKIM, JAIN, and also National Fatwa Council. So basically, these are the example of authorities that oversee the Islamic matters, such as the Islamic principles and also monitoring the religious obligations such as fasting, zakat, and so on. For the morality and ethics, it avoid people from involved in the public issues such as drinking alcohol, gambling, killing each other, because if we see the logic here, those actions are also haram in Islam, right? So if we Muslim, we should not do something haram. In terms of Sharia implementation, we can see that in Malaysia we have Sharia court and also agency to enforce the Islamic law. Not only that, some part of the constitution, Malaysia constitution, also play a role to protect the Islamic value. Move on to the next context, which is social. We also have three, which are social justice, welfare community, and also good character. Under the social justice, it ensures that everyone in the community are treated fairly and have the equal opportunity to access the important resources such as education, employment, and so on. For the community welfare, Al-Hisbah encourage the people to contribute to the society. For example, through the donation, volunteerism, and then it also ensure that the zakat collection is distributed to the person who are eligible to receive it. Under the good character, it encourages people or community to have the good behavior, to not do any unbeneficial or harmful actions such as defamation or gossip. Okay, we also have the environmental and health. Under the environmental responsibility, it helps people to have the sense of responsibility to protect the natural resources or environment. So for example, we have the law that prohibit the illegal logging, pollution, and many more. For the public health, it ensures that the hygiene and food safety align with the Islamic dietary law to ensure the holistic well-being. Then for the Islamic medicine, basically it's blend the Islamic healing with the modern healthcare, so it enrich the system to protect the Islamic value while keep people healthy. Lastly, we have the Al-Hisbah development in the Islamic context. The first one is halal economy, like the implementation of halal certification. So it promote the transparency and ethical business practice globally. And then Islamic finance, we have the Islamic financial institution like Bank Islam, which is different from the commercial bank because it adhere to the Sharia principle, which is not practicing interest and emphasize the fairness. We have such an enterprise. So we already learned about the Islamic redistribution system from the pre-production until the post-production, right? So basically, the zakat from business is very helpful in the community development and fostering the economic stability.
Let's look into the challenges Malaysia faces in implementing Al-Hisbah. You might be wondering, why does this matter? Well, Al-Hisbah is all about fairness, accountability, and ethical governance. But putting it into practice today comes with a few bumps in the road. Let's explore them together. So the first one, inconsistency in legal frameworks. Imagine this. You commit the same offense in different states and each state has its own name for the crime and different punishment. Sounds confusing, right? For example, the term for zina varies. Terengganu call it mewati, while Selangor sticks to persetubuhan luar nikah. And even punishment for consuming alcohol differ between states, from fines to varying prison terms. This patchwork of laws creates loopholes and invites criticism. People can exploit this inconsistency to challenge religious authority and weaken enforcement of Islamic principles. Now, moving on to the second challenge, misalignment with Sharia requirements. Next, we have a clash between law and faith. Offenses like zina, consuming alcohol, fall under hudud laws in Islamic teachings, which come with a specific punishment. But here's the catch. Malaysian Sharia courts are often restricted to takzir punishments, meaning fines or short jail terms because of legal limitation according to Kamar Zaman and Yusuf in 2021. This disconnect weakens public confidence in the system and makes people question whether Islamic principles are truly being upheld. Moving on to the third one, globalization impacts. Now let's talk about the influence of the modern world. Globalization is not just about smartphone and fast food. It brings cultural shift too. So, what is it about? All of these changes align with Islamic values. Cybercrime, pornography, and hedonistic practices have crept into society, undermining the ethical standards that Al-Hisbah stands for, as cited in Abu Bakr et al. In 2017. So the fourth challenge, multicultural and multi-religious resistance. Lastly, Malaysia's diverse society brings its own set of challenges. Many people prefer management systems from the West or Japan, seeing them as modern and progressive. Even within the Muslim community, there is resistance to integrating Islamic management system because they are seen as less compatible with modern development.
The role of Al-Hisbah implementation of business ethics in traditional market. First, administration. The administrative role of Al-Hisbah was very important in making sure that trading in the market followed Islamic principles. By keeping constant monitoring of the market, the Mutasib played a key role in maintaining the integrity of trading practice. They will check that the weight and measure used by trader were accurate, inspect quality of goods and monitor if the price were fair. Next, protect consumer rights and build public trust in the market. They also stop exploitation like hoarding goods and or cause price to go up artificially during shortage. It was to make sure essential goods stay available to everyone. It showed that their dedication to justice and equality. For business, transparency and honesty were stressed by Al-Hisbah. Traders had to give honest information about their product and were forbidden to lie about the quality and price of their product. The Mutasib made sure this rule was followed by regularly inspecting market and punishing those who broke them. Al-Hisbah also promote fair competition like discourage monopoly, price fixing, and unfair business practice. It was to make sure that all traders had an equal chance to success. For economy, Al-Hisbah prevent unfair resources distribution by dealing with unethical practice like forced selling and hoarding. Next, economy encourage traders to fulfill social obligation like paying zakat and taking part in charitable activity. Lastly, monitor financial transactions to make sure they align with Islamic principles. It helps protect borrowers from being exploited and foster economic justice. In conclusion, Al-Hisbah has been a cornerstone of Islamic governance, ensuring justice, morality, and fairness in societal and economic affairs. In Malaysia, its principles are evident in various areas such as zakat management, halal certification, ethical governance, and programs aimed at promoting social justice, environmental sustainability, and public well-being. Despite challenges like legal inconsistency, multicultural dynamic, and globalization, Al-Hisbah continue to serve as essential framework for fostering ethical governance, social harmony, and sustainable development in line with Islamic principles.